Hi, it's Juel Fitzgerald for Monday Admissions from the Heart. Last year this time, I was in a different state. I was coughing. I had respiratory problems at the end of December 2024, and this is here end of 2025. So the coughing started, and if you've been following me all year, you know what I'm talking about. So the coughing I hadn't coughed in a good since 21, and so then all of a sudden the coughing came back in end of December in 2024. So I was coughing, having respiratory issues. And then I also, at that same time, right around this time too, I had 10 days of diarrhea. Well, we already know that the onset of the diarrhea was because of my own gluttony by eating a full bag of Tootsie Rolls. And I said, okay, yeah, that's my sin. So consequences, you go to diarrhea. But the only problem is it lasted longer than it should have. When you have something like that, maybe it should have at least a day or two, maybe even only a day. 10 days. So to the point that where we had to have doctors come in, do a CT scan to determine what's going on with my gastro. In addition to the coughing and respiration, were they tied, whatever. So the CT scan looking up in my GI tract for some other issue, and then found the tumor that was attached to my stomach on the outside, which had nothing to do with anything, had nothing to do with diarrhea, nothing. So it's only God there who caused something that was meant for evil to be good, so that the doctors could see in my body to see, oh my gosh, you got this tumor that's in there. And that was a cancer-like tumor, because they said that even though it wasn't cancer yet, it would have been if they hadn't found it. They said nothing, usually stuff like that isn't found until it's in the stomach, encapsulating the stomach, stage 4 cancer. But no, they find it early on while still just a little tumor attached to the outside of the cancer, to the outside of the stomach. So it took, the only thing about that one, you already know the journey on that. I mean, this is early in the year when they found it, but they couldn't do anything early in the year because my respiration, the coughing issue, was in such a state that they couldn't do the surgery, because I had to make sure that I could survive the surgery with the way my lungs were acting up at the time. So it took several months. Surgery got pushed back 2 times, and then the surgery finally happened in July. And in the meantime, before the surgery, they gave me a biologic called Nucala that has definitely helped me immensely. So as far as coughing, respiration has been great. What I say is better. It's better. Because, I still got sinus issues. I still have allergies. And that was another thing about the allergies. Okay, I have allergies I had to take shots for. I took shots for every 4 weeks, once a month. So, because I have a list of allergens like dust and mold, and these are environmental kind of things, not food allergies. It's kind of stuff that's in the house, outside, that kind of stuff, dog, cat, all those kind of things like that. So those shots were being taken ever since 2020. So then when I went to one of my shots several months ago, because the time was going so fast, the doctor said I no longer have to take the shots because it's been 5 years and my allergies are under control. So I still have the allergies. It doesn't say, okay, I don't have allergies, so that's why I'm not taking the shots. It's just that they're under control and they don't need to give me shots. So here we go. So I still have to watch the dust and being around the house, because you can't get away from the dust. The dust is going to be there forever. That's my main allergen. Anyhow, so man, it's just so much going on. I'm trying to tell you about it. I'm like, I could see him jumping around already, because like, man, just so much that happened in these 12 months in my 2025. So I had the surgery in July, and I'm so grateful. So it's crazy how the year started. Seemed like kind of bad with the respiratory, the coughing, the diarrhea, finding this cancer-like thing, because in the first beginning they were kind of like, wonder maybe it is cancer, but thank goodness it's not. It's cancer-like, because if it had kept on going, we'd be talking a whole nother story some years down the road, because I don't know how long it would have took it to grow to get to stage 4. So anyway, because we don't even know how long it's been there to begin with. So the wonderful thing about that is, for me, about the pushback, and I've probably mentioned this in prior videos, was that since my surgery got pushed back, the blessing part is I still had other things going on. I had trips planned all during the year. 2 of the trips did get canceled because of ailments, because in March I was supposed to be going to Arizona, see a sick friend there. And the very same day that I was supposed to have been flying out, I ended up in ER, so I had to cancel the trip like right that moment. So that trip didn't even happen. And then I had another trip planned in September, but this was because it was a month after my surgery. The Holy Spirit said, maybe you need to cancel that too, even though you probably still could do it, but it was after surgery and I still wasn't totally up to par because I was out for 6 weeks after the surgery. It wasn't that I didn't have to drive, because I could still drive, but I still was in this recovery stage. It's 6 weeks after. So we canceled the September trip, and I'm so glad we did, because it was supposed to have been at New River Gorge in West Virginia. And the one thing that I wanted to do was to walk under the bridge, which would meant being harnessed in something. And I would have been at the wrong time to be harnessed when I was still a little tender after the surgery. Hadn't even thought about it, but the Holy Spirit said, you need to cancel that. So we postponed that, and we're going to do that in 2026, some other time. It's already booked, but I can't wait. Anyway, so the good part about the pushback on the surgeries too, because of there was several other trips we had. I had a cruise with my husband for his 70th birthday. And that, if the original date had stayed in, then I don't know what the nature of that cruise and a cruise with my girlfriend would have been like. Because after I had the birthday cruise with my husband, I went on another cruise with another girlfriend a month later. So if the surgery had happened on the day it originally had been planned in the spring, I don't know how much enjoyment I would have had, because I don't know what kind of condition I would have been in as far as pain level, that kind of stuff, tenderness, diet. Whew, and you know how my diet was crazy because of the surgery. I mean, I got a chance to experience all 4 types of diet. It was a clear liquid, full liquid, soft, and regular. Yeah. I don't know. I can't wait to see how God wants me to use that, because I already knew those different types of diets, because I used to be a diet clerk for the VA hospital, and had to tell the what do you call people? The people that cook the food, the kitchen, would feed XYZ patient based on the particular type of diet they had. But I never had to experience me eating any of those 4 diets other than a regular diet. So for me to have an experience eating those 4 different types of diets, I can't wait to see why I had to really experience, as opposed to just knowing about the diet. Now I really know about the diet, because I know what it felt like eating those 4 different types of diets because of a surgery. Anyway, so that would have been not fun if those surgery dates had went off the first time and the second time date, because it would have influenced the 2 cruises that I had a wonderful time with my husband, and we went, there were 6 of us on that trip. And then with my girlfriend in May, we went on a cruise, and it would have been the same thing. So the surgeries happened after those 2 trips, and that was fabulous. So I could have a good time before going under the knife. So then other trips went on as planned. We still had family reunion that went on as planned. We also went on our DC Smithsonian quest, because I'm on a quest to do all the Smithsonians. And right now we only have maybe 3 left in DC and 2 in New York City. So we're planning on getting the rest of those in the near future, because there's not that many left. Then I went to Lancaster with my girlfriends to see, I'm going to Lancaster every year, and I can't remember who we just saw. Went to Lancaster. There's always a biblical story in Lancaster. Right now, other names are coming. I was like, nope, that wasn't it. Nope, that wasn't it. Noah. Was that Noah? Did we just see Noah? So it gets to be a blur, because I go every year for something, and next year we're going to see David. Yeah, David. I think it's David. No, see David another time. David is the one that took Goliath out, so it must be Daniel. So yeah, it might be. I think it is Daniel in the lion's den, or Joshua. It's getting to be a blur. because this one is coming up next year is brand new, and ooh, it's just been too many. But anyway, so I did that trip. That was post surgery. Then in November we had our 51st wedding anniversary in San Antonio. So that was just fabulous to go to that. It's because it was 80, 90 degrees there while it was still snowing and raining back in Cleveland. It was great just to get away for that. And that trip wasn't even planned for that because we were planning on, because 50th we did last year when we did the Panama Canal cruise, and that was a big thing because it's 50. 51st, we were planning on just having a little dinner or something. But because I had to cancel the March trip because I ended up in ER, I had to use that ticket for somewhere. So we used that ticket money and went to San Antonio instead. So that's how it turned out, that why we went there. So God knew we needed to be in a hot, warm place. So, yeah, it was right, because I was going to be in a hot, dry place. And then instead we ended up being in a hot, can't say it was really humid there, and I can't really say it was dry, but it was hot, and I loved it, because I love it hot. So anyway, I ended up in a hot place. It went in November, where it should have been in March. And then, okay, so you also know that I'm a trail ambassador, so with all this sickness going on, January to April, okay, we had crazy weather, crazy winter weather, that a lot of my trail ambassador treks was canceled, or I was having so much respiratory problems that I couldn't go out in the cold because it's too cold to keep my lungs warm. So I had to cancel a lot of my treks with the people I was supposed to be with. So man, I was like, oh my goodness, because every year we have to serve for 40 hours. 40 hours is nothing for a year. But things happen. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind, because maybe by halfway through the year, maybe May, June, could have been July, because I had the surgery. Because the surgery, I was out for 6 weeks, so I couldn't walk in either. Hiker walks in. So I started going, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get this 40 hours in because of my respiration, the weather was bad, cancellations. So I said, okay, this will be 1 year, I won't be getting the 40 hours in, and we'll have to explain to them. And then I knew they would have gave me grace on that, because all that stuff was not my fault. The weather wasn't my fault. My health wasn't my fault. So that was my issue. But then I was still thinking, oh man, I'm not going to get there. But God, somehow in the last, right after, after the surgery. So actually it was granted, I had some hours earlier in the year, but not a whole lot. I mean, usually I have my 40 hours by halfway through the year. I mean, the rest of the year is just a bonus. At this time, by the time July, August, I was nowhere near 40. And I can't even tell you where I was, but I wasn't close. So then sometime after the surgery, because I get healed up a lot faster, so I was able to walk sooner. We'll just say September to October. Dang, was it that September? Just 2 months? Man, maybe it was 2 months. At least 2 or 3 months. Within a 2 and 3 months period, I just know that by the time the middle of October, end of October came, I had already achieved my 40 hours. And on top of that, we are encouraged to visit all 18 Metro Park reservations. And when you do that, you get what's called an Explorer badge, or Explorer pin, actually, because you did this thing of going to all 18 Metro Parks. So I wouldn't even think about the 18 because I couldn't even do the 40. Why would I do the 18? And generally, I don't try to do the 18 anyway. I did the 18 in the first few years that I did this, and I did it a couple times, sometimes before. But that's no big deal. I don't need to go do 18. I just want to focus on the 40, right? So since I was doing this fast track, trying to get my 40 in, I started noticing, hey, hold up, I'm a little bit over halfway through this 18. Let's go and do it. So by the end of October, I had earned all 40 hours and had got all 18 reservations. I'm like, God, only you could do that, because there is no way in the world. I mean, how did that happen? I mean, just like I got time to do nothing else in addition to recovering and being well and doing all these different things, because I got other things to do besides to being a trail ambassador. So that was in October. So I was like 2 months to spare before the year was out. And I already got that. So I could Took that all the way to December, but nope, we got it done earlier. And then with that done in October, I was able to pay it forward so that all in November, I was helping another trail ambassador get her 40 hours and her 18 of 18 metro parks in November. So I did a lot of hiking in the fall before the end of November. Me earning mine in October, hers earning her 10 in November, because we had a goal too, because we had a award ceremony coming up in December, so it needed to be done before then. So we both made it. Flying colors. So now I got way more than 40. But we still in 24. I'm already got my 25. I'm already in the 26. We only got a few days left. I'm thinking the year's done over. We only got a couple of days, we're done. But I'll have probably 50, a little bit more than 50, maybe 60 in trail ambassador hours, way over the 40. So I'm good. Just because I paid it forward and because somebody else helped me. Because somebody else had to help me in order to do that. So it wasn't like I did it by myself. Because as trail ambassadors, we have to be with somebody else. We can't do these hikes by ourselves. We have to be in pairs. So if someone helped me, I help somebody else, and it's all good. And then also, the other travels we did, we went to Niagara Falls. My grandson, so that was cool over weekend. He loved that. And he doesn't have his passport, so we had to do the American side of the falls. And there was some great hotels there. We had a good time walking all over the place, so that was fabulous doing that. And then all during the year, I still was doing working the side hustle as a driver and instructor. I've been doing that for 4 years. And it's because I was a trail ambassador doing some volunteer work 4 years ago that I ended up getting into this, because one of the trail ambassadors, her sister owns a driving and instructor company. So that's how the connection came in, because she brought it up saying, you would make a great driver instructor. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't want to help nobody learn how to drive a car, especially a teenager. Oh my gosh, are you nuts? Forget it, don't even matter, teenager or adult, because now I'm doing adults and teenagers. So it doesn't matter what your age is. I'm helping everybody out. So, so there we are. 4 years. So the interesting part about that situation is because 4 years ago, God put that in my lap. You could see that on another video, several videos probably, where I talked about how I even got into that, because that's something I was not looking for. I didn't want to. If I was looking for a job, I would not be looking for a job as a driver and instructor. For me, it is not a job, it's a passion. So when the passion goes away, then I know I'll be walking away, because if something turns into a job, time to go. So anyway, so God put it in my lap, said, you're going to do this? And I said, okay, I'm doing this. And as it turned out, I ended up loving it, and I still do. So we'll see how long he really wants me to do this, because I really thought that's why I was hearing him say that this year was going to be my last year, 4th year. Even though it's at the height, I just love it. It's my passion. And I just love being able to help students of all ages learn how to drive, and then just have that communication with them, because I've taught in the classroom and I've also taught in the cars. I taught in the classroom the first 2 years and in the cars, back and forth, same year, because many of us, the instructors, either you're in the car or you're in the classroom, but usually not both. Me, I was one of the few that did both in my first 2 years. The last couple of years now, I've been always in the car, and I'd rather be in the car anyway. So, because being in the classroom, that's a whole nother animal right there. So, love doing that, because I love public speaking, and that's fun teaching in a classroom, but it's just a whole nother level that I prefer to do the cars over being in the classroom. So I don't even know how God did that, because it wasn't like I told my boss to get out of this and the boss didn't tell me to. So God just somehow took me out of the classroom, and I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. I'm good. So, I mean, I got more money in the classroom, but I'm like, whatever. But it wasn't necessarily about finances either, because even though the reason why God also put me there was because 4 years ago I did need the side hustle. I mean, he was hooking me up doing whatever maintenance, but I still needed a little side hustle just for trips, vacations, a little spending money, because I get a pension. So the pension's not always enough if I'm trying to travel and have just a little side money. Okay, so I'm just saying, because I know I've told you before in another video, my finances wasn't on point at one point, and so now through God, the finances have changed because of him. But in the beginning, it wasn't so much. I mean, it wasn't one, and he really had to discipline me into doing things the right way. So now I'm at a point where I don't have any credit cards. Everything I do is cash. If I can't buy any cash, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't travel. I can't go. I can't buy. So, because I'm not using a credit card, because I don't use a credit card even when I go on a cruise. I use either Cash App or I use what's the other one? Venmo. That's my credit card. That's cash. I'm just saying. So if I don't have it, I can't go. Don't have no spending money. That's all because of God. But that's years in the past. It's already an established thing now. So it's not a new change for this year. But what was a change in the finances for this year was he gave me another income source, unexpected. Don't even want to go into details because it's crazy. Like, how you do that? You give me a steady Eddie, unexpected income source to the point that I was thinking, because that happened around January, February, while I was in the middle of respiration, diarrhea, learning about this tumor, all this, and then this unexpected income source came in, the steady Eddie. I'm like, wow. So does it mean I need to do this job anymore, the driver in thing? Because, the real basic reason was because of financial and for spending money. With this, I really don't need to do that anymore. So I started wondering if he's going to tell me, okay, it's going to be over. And I even thought during the year, I thought because of the surgery, whenever the surgery date was going to be done and recover, I thought, well, that's a perfect time to say, see you later. But nope, he said, nope, you're going to keep it working. So like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden I got this message about, it's still hard for me to explain because when the Holy Spirit speaks to me, sometimes it's clear as mud. Other times it's like, I need you to think about what I'm trying to tell you. And this one I had to really think about because I wanted to jump the gun. Just like I wanted to jump the gun when I got the job. Because I was like, you don't really want me to do this. Because I was like, you don't want me to do this. I threw out the fleeces. And then he said, now you're doing this. So now this time I'm like, okay. So I'm getting ready to leave it because I heard a message that December 31st of this year, 25, it's going to be my last day. I'm good. I'm like, okay. And at the same time, I'm thinking, man, this is kind of feeling like when I was a travel agent, when you told me, he made it real clear, Holy Spirit, God made it real clear that my time as a travel agent, a long time ago, because I used to own a company, had employees, had all kinds of stuff. And he said, I want you out of business. But me, I love it so much. I said, no, you can't be telling me that because I'm trying to retire from my government job, which I don't like, so I can do this travel thing, which I do love, and that be my income source. So I just kept on staying in there. I just said, I must have heard it wrong because, it's something I really love. 2 years later, God grabbed me and said, I told you 2 years ago to get out of this, so get out. So I gave up. I said, I give. So I said, okay, well, is this another one of the times you want me to give up something I really, really love? Because this driving aircraft is really good. Like any job, there's always something negative or something going on because anytime you interact with people, there's negatives, but you still love the job in spite of the negatives, right? So I was like, okay, so if that's what you want me to do, I'm going to leave December 31st. I wasn't ready. But I was like, well, that's what you do because I'm not going through the consequences that I did when I was disobedient. Because when you're disobedient, when God tells you to do something and stop something or to start something and you don't do that at that time that he tells you to do it, you are going to be the one suffering the consequences. So I said, okay, we out. And then I started hearing something like, well, no, I don't totally want you out. I just want your situation of how you handle being a driver instructor to be different in 26. But it's going to start December 31st. So I was like, so I was kind of glad because I'm really loving this thing. So now my schedule for 2026 is going to be a whole lot different than what I've ever done the prior 4 years. And it's already happening different now. My January schedule is way different than I've ever done before. So it's going to be interesting to see how 2026 is really going to play out, especially since there was a law change in Ohio, and I'm going to be playing a part of that. So I'm already doing that. So like I said, I'm doing adults, teenagers, anybody that needs to drive because we got all kind of things, all kind of different people that need to learn how to drive, and I really love doing that. I can't even tell you why people think I'm being sarcastic. No, because like I've told you before on other videos, I pray before for safety, education, communication, whatever needs to happen during a drive. And then I pray afterwards, saying hallelujah, praise God, we survived the situation. And that's the normal. But if I'm praying during the ride, then it's not good. Because I mean, this kid or this adult is scaring me half to death. And I'm praying, God, tell me what to do, where to go, how specifically, what needs to happen to change this situation. And it has always worked. In those scary moments, then I feel like I was a real teacher because I'm taking this person from, God is helping me take this person from this scary level to this person that's driving on the freeway. I'm just saying. So, because most of the times when I have students, especially teenagers, well, adults too, because some adults are in the same situation, but mainly teenagers, they have been driving for hours and hours and hours, and they're just comfortable, and they just need to get this 8 hours done behind the wheel because the state of Ohio says they have to do it. So, hey, a lot of times it's just like, they're just driving Miss Betsy around. So Miss Fitzgerald around, and we go wherever, we taking pictures of having a good time. Okay, we're going up here and see what you want to see. Like, hey, no big deal. We just got to pay attention to the other drivers or something that the driver may do, the student may do, because, they still have a lack of experience and they may slip. And I'm just there to hold up, what was that? But the scary was, that's a whole nother level, because either they don't have a clue, they're scary, they're terrified, they're nervous themselves, they have no experience, especially I have some adults that have no experience, and just like, oh my goodness, you're in school, you don't even understand the size, understand even where the dashboard, what's on that, so it's like, so it's always great, because then I actually get to teach somebody then in those categories. But that's such a smaller group of people. Say it's like 1%. 1%. It's not even less than that. So, but it's enough, because when it gets scary, it does get scary. All it takes is one accident and you could be hurt, dead, whatever. Right? So anyway, so 2026 is going to be different for me as a driver and instructor. Trying to think what else I wanted to talk to you about. Well, that might be good about, I forgot to tell you or remind you, because this is kind of like a reflection of 2025, that I got to get my dream come true as to be a red coat. So that was amazing. I couldn't see that coming at the beginning of the year at all, because I've been wanting to be a red coat for decades, literally decades. But God has always said, nope, not time. Nope, you can't do that. You got too much going on. I need you over here. I need you to do this. And I'm getting older too, and I even retired a long time ago. You would think, it's the perfect time to be in a red coat. Nope. I got you to, God said, nope, I got other things for you to do right now. So I thought I just wasn't going to ever do this. So, but this year it came out. And it's funny how this year was one of the most active years I've ever been in theaters. This is before I got to the red coats. My girlfriend and I, because of this unusual source of income that I'm telling you about, we were able to go to a few theaters, and she was involved with the Cleveland Film Festival, so I got a chance to see the theaters for all that kind of stuff, and I didn't have to pay a dime for that, because since she was involved, I got it free. So she wanted me to volunteer for next year. Like, I tried to do it. A good guy has said nothing about me volunteering for no Cleveland Film Festival, because that's way too much work. But hey, he said nothing. I'll go, but I try to volunteer. So we was exposed to that, and then I was exposed to that, and then she and I went on a couple plays that I had been wanting to see forever. I finally got to see Hamilton. I got to see a few other plays with her, and it was great because we were able to get to these plays and only pay for one person, because both of us are married, and we know if we go to something, it's going to be times 2. And if the seat is expensive, times 2 adds up. Her husband, not interested in that kind of stuff. My husband, he would go because he likes going to that kind of stuff too. So it just so happened, I don't know if he didn't want interest in the ones we went to, or what the situation would, or just the fact that I told him I'm going with Maggie, and we left here and we did these particular plays. We did a bunch, not knowing that was going to be a bunch of plays in the fall, because I became a red coat and I got to go to serve in 10 different shows, and be in 6 different theaters. So my actual goal is, I'm working on the goal of getting my first 100 hours as a volunteer, with them getting kind of close now. But my real goal is, which is going to take a little longer, is to be able to serve in all 13 venues, because there's 13 theaters or venues that are all under the Playhouse Square. A lot of people don't know that. They see the big 6 or 7 on the outside because their doors are on the outside, but they're smaller theaters within, behind, downstairs, all across the street, all kinds of stuff. So my quest, because I'm always on a quest. I'm always on a quest on top of other quests, meaning I don't finish a quest and start another. I do different quests simultaneously. So now I got this one added in to do all 13 venues of the Playhouse Square. So as of now, I have 6 in a year, in a 3-month time. To me, that's amazing because I would have never thought I would get 6 because it just happened that way. It just happened that way. Opportunities came up. I volunteered for extra for different ones. They signed me to some, so that already helped. But the fact that a few of them I had to volunteer myself to be an extra, and I already have one more that I put myself on a schedule in January, so it'll be 7 on the first week. So it'll be number 7. So we'll see how the progression of the rest of them will be, because some of them are really going to be hard to get into because of the type of theater that they are and how they use them. And one of them is going to be really hard. So we'll see if I get a chance to do the Upper Allen at all, because we'll see. But I'm not even saying at all because I know God when he gives me a quest, it's going to get done. So somehow, and all I need is to serve in any of those once. One time. Some of the other ones I'll be serving hundreds of times, but I only need to serve one. So somehow I'll get a chance to get that one. I probably could, who knows? I don't know when it would be. It probably might be the last one only because of the odds of that one. But some of the other ones, it'll take a minute. So we'll see by next year this time how many I will have gotten done. All 13 or we'll see, because God's in control. And I know when he puts you on a quest, it happens. It just happens. Because for me to get 6 right now, it's like, I get 6. That's almost half. Like, I would have never thought 6 in 3 months. I only been here 3 months. And I've been to 6 in the theaters already as servant, as Rico. So I can't wait to see what plans he has for me coming up. So, man, oh man. So anyway, so I got that dream. So here we are, end of the year. A year that started kind of gloomy weather-wise because of snowstorms and all that kind of stuff, respiratory problems, coughing, diarrhea, some tumor that's trying to live off of me, trying to feed off of me. And then in spite of all that, God just gave me so much more positivity, more positive than the negatives, even though some of that stuff looked like, ooh, especially when the surgery came, and then even the respiration, because that was worse. If you can't breathe, that's a problem. Forget about the tumor, because that's that easy to fix, but breathing, that's a whole other story, especially when the lungs was really doing something strange. I don't know what's going on there. And some of that stuff was medication induced that we had to fix that. Like, oh, no, take me off of that, because that's making my lungs worse. So, all through all that, what got me through that was just keeping my eyes focused on Jesus. And if it wasn't for Jesus, I don't have a clue. I could have went through some of this stuff. One, the schedule's crazy. So between being sick and then doing the stuff, because God always makes my schedule full, life to the full, fully full. So I also know that if I didn't have Jesus, because I'm the type of person that likes to plan, likes to do things and that kind of stuff, that's just the nature that he made me, I'd have been because I know before I started really walking with Jesus and listening to what he tells me to do with my schedule, I would overschedule. I'd be too scheduled so badly that I would be anxious, it just wasn't a good thing. It just wasn't a good thing. Nervous breakdown or something like that. It just wasn't a good thing. But when Jesus has scheduled is the maker, can't even talk, man. I'm trying to slow it down because I like to talk fast. I want to get this out. So, but because God is my scheduler, my schedule is fabulous. It looks crazy to other people because I do a lot. But it don't look crazy to me because you don't know the stuff that's not in that schedule that he takes out. Because it just, otherwise I would be a lunatic in a white jacket. Even though they don't do that anymore, right? Do they have white jackets anymore? Nope. They don't do that anymore. But anyway, so wow. But keeping my eyes focused on Jesus, to do the stuff he had me to do in 2025, to endure the stuff that he had me to do, the stuff that I didn't want to endure. Oh my gosh, because surgery was painful. The thought of what could have been, how much worse it could have been, going through diarrhea, headaches, all kind of stuff. Lung problems, can't breathe. That's not fun. Yet, still being able to travel, still having time with family. Oh my gosh. It was a crazy 2025. Traveling, paying cash. This was the first time I did do a cruise. When I did the cruise with my girlfriend, like I just told you, I don't have any credit cards. So he's like, how are you gonna do a cruise without a credit card? Because you gotta have a card on the account so you can buy stuff on the cruise. I said, oh, okay, I'm just gonna use this Venmo card, see what happens. No problem, he took it. So I was like, cool, I don't need a credit card. That was the first cruise ever that I did it all cash because it's through Venmo, not a credit card. So by the time I went home, I don't have no debt at home to pay for it. So, in fact, I brought money home because I didn't spend it all. So, I'm just saying, it's like, especially going on a cruise with a girlfriend. I had never done that before by myself. So, it was fun for us to do that with her, for me to do that with her, and for her to do that with me. So, yeah. So, this year really proved that cash can't work. I don't have to do a credit card. Already even had car problems. Wow, this has just popped in my mind. It's not on the list. Car problems where I had to get 4 new tires. I had to replace something else. I forget something that broke down. So that got to about $1,000-some-odd. I don't have that kind of cash. I couldn't Venmo, Cash App. I had that laying up in there. But the car companies have installment plans that you could use, submit. So I took advantage of that. That still to me is like cash because I'm just paying them monthly and actually paying them more than monthly because I said, yeah, let me do that. But I know I'm going to pay you off sooner. So that's what I do. That's what I did. So got those 4 tires and just pay it off like that. So there we go. But that's still not a credit card. It's just like a mini loan, So it worked out. So I'm like, okay. So when something big comes to like that, I know God is going to always work it out. So I don't have to ever be anxious or concerned about finances or anything, even with this other additional income. Because with the additional income, that wasn't helping the situation. Because like I said, when you get a car fixed, it's never cheap. It's like they want hundreds and thousands of dollars to fix whatever your issue is. It's never cheap. It's almost like as soon as you get some money, the car breaks down. And God still worked it out. So it was a wonderful year of, wow. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot more than I'm thinking about now. I'm just sitting here telling you about it. Like, wow, 2025 was an amazing year. So it's looking forward to 25, 26, and the trips that I do have on the schedule for 26. The changed driver ed method of doing this in 26. Those are probably the 2 big things because it's a trail ambassador. Everything else I do, the red coats, that's still kind of new, but I'm routine now. So that's just another thing to do that's on my list. And enjoyment. It's not even a thing to do, it's a thing to serve. It's the way to serve. It's the way to serve. It is just so much fun as a red coat to serve people at the theaters and help and just watch them enjoy the performing arts that happen there. And just, I just love that. It's just funny because I like I've said, I have VA, which is Volunteer Anonymous. I'm a member of VA, which is Volunteer Anonymous. It's a real chronic problem because I love to volunteer. And that's why with the driver ed, it seems more like I'm volunteering because it just has that volunteer feel to it for me. For others people, they probably say it's a job. For me, because it's a passion. And then I just happen to, every week I get a check. Wow, I keep forgetting it's not volunteer because it's still passionate. I just love doing it. And I'm serving. So I love to serve. So it's just what I do. And that's what God, that's one of the gifts or talents that he gives me to do is serving people in various different ways. So I can't wait to see who I get to serve in 2026, which I'm still amazed that it's only a few days away. This year went fast with all the stuff that went on. The year still shot by. Still shot by. Wow. And because I was able to fix my eyes on Jesus, I was able to get through it all. So let's just continue to do the same thing. And fixing your eyes on Jesus is in Hebrews 12, where it says, fixing eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and protector and the perfecter of our faith. So I'll see you next Monday in the new year, 2026. Since this is the last Monday of 2025. So I hope you guys have a happy new year. Hope you have great fun and celebrating the new year coming in a couple of days, or maybe not. Maybe you're just going to chill and relax, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be chilling and relax. I may get a chance to stay up to midnight and watch, I don't know, the ball drop in New York, or who knows, maybe I'll fall asleep. But happy new year. See you next year on Mondays and Missions from the Heart.